everyone, welcome back to the Train Room. Artisan Pirate here, and in this edition of the Train Room, I want to take the opportunity to show you all of the HO scale 3D printed building and accessories that I have made so far. I've got a lot on the back burner to print out more, but I just want to show you guys now on video what I have made so far and how far my modeling skills have come since I started. I can tell a lot from the very first building I 3D printed and assembled up to the last one that I've done, that my skills just keep going up and up in the level of this miniature modeling scale of HO scale. But really cool. Keep in mind, during this video I do not have an industrial 3D printer. I just have two readily available units that come from Amazon. One is a longer LK4 3D printer, and I love it and use it almost daily. The other one is an Ender 3 3D printer, and so far from what I've seen, I love the build quality and the prints that this thing makes. Those two units are readily available on Amazon, as well as their replacement parts. Keep that in mind. Also keep that in mind that all the files you're going to see here for the 3D printed buildings are available on Thingiverse, and around 99% of the buildings I'm going to show you are from one user's file, and I will leave a link to their file down in the description box below so you can go and check out their Thingiverse page with their several and abundance of HO scale stuff. Really excited to show this video to you guys, and it's one I've really been looking forward to show off the modeling side of the model railroad stuff here in the train room. So let me move the camera down to the layout and get looking at buildings. Okay, I guess we'll begin with the very first 3D printed building I've done, and that was this brewery here. It is a really beautiful file with all of the bricks beautifully detailed with the loading dock and the handrails there painted a bright yellow so people can see them. But really cool. This was the very first full building that I ever done, and I themed it to Red Oak Brewery, which is right up the road from me, about 4 or 5 exits up the interstate. But really cool. And once I made this one and seen that I was capable of doing this, I just went crazy with it, and I've just kept 3D printing stuff since then. I also 3D printed a water tower, and I currently have it behind the brewery here. But really cool with the detailing and the ladder and the railing. Amazing what you can do with 3D printing. But really cool. And then I printed this abandoned shack here. I just thought this would look good maybe on a mountainside or something. But really cool. It has the abandoned fireplace in there, and this was a one-piece print. I think it took around 9 or 10 hours to print this out, but it came out great. And after cleaning it up a little bit with the Dremel tool and an X-Acto knife, I painted it. And I've painted everything that I'm showing you with basic acrylic craft paints you can get at any craft store, and basic paint brushes. Next we have a variety store, and this was just supposed to be a generic variety store. I themed it to Midway Variety Store. It's one of the last mom and pop stores here in the area where I'm from, but really cool. It's got a lot of beautiful detail, like the meter and the mast back here on the back, the side door, and I love the color combination here, but really cool. Next up we have the Boys and Girls Club. If you all follow me on the woodworking journey on Monday videos, you know that I'm a huge supporter of the Boys and Girls Club. I was a Boys and Girls Club kid growing up. I 3D printed all this, and this file was supposed to be a a auto parts store. I think it was supposed to be like a Napa auto parts store, but it looks so similar to the Boys and Girls Club that I grew up going to, so I painted it like that to have that childhood memory on the table. And I went to my laser engraver and laser cut some basic poster board to do the helping hands there on the front and the side. Also with that we have a playground here, but really cool. This was probably the smallest thing I had painted until then, but I've got it right off to the side of the Boys and Girls Club where everybody can go out and play. Let me move the camera farther down and we'll keep going over buildings. Here we have a HO scale church, and at the time that I made this, this was probably my favorite model that I had ever put together, and it came out so beautiful with all the shingles on the roof there. Really beautiful file to make and customize to your liking. And one thing I'd done, and I was happy I was able to do it, is my mom does ceramics, and she has some ceramic churches that she paints, and they can be lit up, and they get lit up with this stained glass stuff here, so when the light hits it, it actually looks like the windows on the outside are stained glass. Hopefully that comes up on camera. All of the buildings that I'm showing you are able to be wired to be lit up. I just have not done that to anything here yet, because I don't know where everything will permanently go on the final incarnation of the layout. I went and done my very first people, and this is pallbearers with a casket, and this has been the smallest thing that I have ever painted for HO scale, and the very first time I ever attempted doing people, but really, really cool. And then of course I also have a small cemetery beside the church, but really, really cool. I enjoyed painting this, and this is the same file for the playground for the Boys and Girls Club, the wall here. And then off to the side, there's some beehives. Once upon a time ago, at the church I grew up going to, my grandfather, who taught me the woodworking, had some of his bees out behind the church in a field behind the church that was owned by our church, and our pastor let us put some beehives out there. So I just wanted to have that little Easter egg for my grandfather on the layout as well. Here we have a tower where all the switching would be done on a railroad, but it came out amazing, especially all the work for the ladders and the structure and all for that. I thought that came out great to be 3D printed. Then we have a lighthouse. You guys know I am a pirate and I love the beach, but this is one of the more recent models I've done, and I can tell that my skill just keeps going up and up with more and more projects done. And for the windows, the yellow you see in all the windows, what I do is just paint an index card a soft yellow or a dark yellow depending on what I want it to look like, and just glue it into the window frames, and that's what makes it look like there's lights on inside the buildings. And this file actually has additional files to download where the lighthouse beacon can rotate and you can wire it to be lit up. I didn't at this stage because I'm still learning how to solder properly and everything, but really, really cool. Then we have over here a maintenance shed kind of at the center of everything, and this was a very simple print, very minimal colors. It only took 3 colors, and it only had like 6 parts. It only had like the 2 buildings, the door, the 2 roofs, and the base. But I figured that the cars on the model layout, which are going to be Hot Wheels cars, needed somewhere to go and be maintained. And I've got a fire truck and a bus over there for the time being. We'll keep on going around the table. Let me move the camera again. Here we have what is probably my favorite model, and this is an HO scale lumber yard, and I themed it to an actual family-owned lumber yard that's in Burlington, and it's Alamance lumber, but it has a ton of beautiful detail on it. I love the area over here where you can get your lumber cut to the size you want with the very miniature radial arm saw there. And I didn't glue the top onto this one because I wanted to be able to lift it off and see the hardwoods I put in, and I put some exotic hardwoods like Padauk, Purple Heart, Red Oak, Cherry, and Walnut in the top there. And then I just put like some basic cut down popsicle sticks for like dimensional lumber, like 2x4s, 1x6s, things like that. And then I put a stack of pallets on the sides here. But really, really cool. I think what I want to do is maybe wire this to where it'll light up on the inside once the roof is on. Again, still got to learn how to do all that. Next we have a post office, and this is a model I was not intending to print. My longer LK4 3D printer actually jammed and some parts messed up on it, so after getting the parts and getting it fixed and re-leveled and everything, I wanted a building I could print out quickly just to make sure everything was dialed back in, and this was the result. This nice little post office, but really cool to have. Here we have a cinema, and this is actually wired to light up. Let me see if I can plug it up real quick for you guys to see. There we go. Lights up there nicely with some LEDs. I themed this after Graham's Cinema. Graham is the next town over, and went there many times as a kid to see movies. I went there and seen Titanic for the first time when I was young, but really cool. And I put, since I am a pirate and I like Jaws and scary movies and all, I put tonight's double feature, Jaws and Friday the 13th. Again, don't know where it'll be on the layout. That's why the wires, I've just got them tucked under the bottom here for now. Here we have the Jurassic Park gate, the iconic gate for the dinosaur movies. And when I made this, everybody said, you know, they sell a fish tank for it a decoration for a fish tank that's already that size. I said it didn't really look to size, so I found the file on Thingiverse and just enlarged it to where I thought it would look good with HO scale stuff, and I think it fits the cars perfectly. And the final thing I have 3D printed, the building wise, is Skids 2 Restaurant. Again, this is not what this was intended to be. I think this was supposed to be the Buckeyes restaurant or something like that. It will be in the file if you look for it on Thingiverse. But I themed it to Skids 2. That is my favorite locally owned diner. If you go, get the twin cheeseburger basket and get a large cup of that famous shaved ice. But really, really cool. I frequent here a lot, and I've always been a loyal customer to them and really enjoy going there. But really, really cool. And then just as something to put out there, again, when my printer was messing up, this was the first thing I printed when I got it fixed, was just an HO scale dumpster. And I've just got it out by the back door of the restaurant. But that is all I have 3D printed so far. Once again, I have several more files that I have earmarked to print out. The rest of the buildings on here that you see are actually kits that have been bought or given to me or I've had since childhood. Let me move the camera one more time and we'll wrap up the video. And that is all of the currently finished stuff I have printed for the HO scale stuff, but really, really cool. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully it encourages you to maybe find or track down someone with a 3D printer and get something 3D printed for your model railroad. I have a ton more stuff that I do want to 3D print. I do have some stuff 3D printed already behind the camera that I'm currently working on, and once I get done with it, it will be clear coated with clear coat for protection, then put on the layout and pictures took of it to document it for my Instagram page. But really, really cool. It's so much fun, and the only limitation is your imagination when it comes to the model railroad and stuff. Again, I'm theming stuff to my childhood and things that I like. I've got a castle on here that's an incense burner because I love castles and kings and queens and myths and legends like that. I've got the Jurassic Park gate on here because I love movies and just pop culture stuff like that. I've got the church to tie everything back into my family and everything. But really, really cool. Really, really amazing. And there's a lot more to come. Hopefully it will be done by the end of the year, the main layout table, and then we can start documenting that, doing the landscape, and I want a mountain, I want a beach scene and all that. But I hope you guys continue to stick around. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and also follow me over on Instagram. Links to all my social medias as well as ways to contact me will always be linked down in the description box below. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.